Okay, I've decided to go ahead and shoot a little video to show off some of my plants today with Ophelia my helper. Up first we've got some of the freebie peppers that I got. These are the Caballero over here. Another Caballero. Let's see, this one is the Serrano pepper. And this should be, yep, Fresno. And Ophelia dog. So those are the freebie peppers that I got. Back behind them, and I really need to turn these tags around, we've got my Tolly's Sweet Italian pepper, which this is the last seed that I had left over from several years ago, and it actually grew, so I'm rather proud of it. Up next we've got, what's this? It was a Carnival mixed peppers, whole bunch of different colors, and only one of them came up, so no idea what color it's going to end up being, but it was a mixed bag of like red, purple, and yellow peppers. Last one we have here is my Tequila Sunrise pepper. That's supposed to be a nice orange pepper. Moving on down, this is my Carolina Reaper. It's not been enjoying itself out here. The leaves is yellowed a bit, but I've got new growth on it, so must be doing something right. Next we have our tomatoes here. I believe these two are both Arkansas Traveler tomatoes. They seem to be doing all right. I've pruned them as well, and they've got they're starting to get some buds on them. Over here I've got my Moruga Scorpion, or Trinidad Scorpion pepper. Also it's yellowing, and it's got a little bit of new growth on it, but not much, so I'm gonna have to do something to get it back in the game. Over here we have my Celebrity tomato. This was actually the top that I trimmed off of the main plant, and I stuck it in here to see if it'd grow, and it did. Seems to be doing pretty good. In the back row we've got my black cherry tomatoes. And that's it for my porch garden. Sort of a flashback to my days in the apartment. And here we have the main garden. We've got my cucumbers, my kale, my chard, my spinach, which is starting to bolt, so I need to get after it, and my other cucumbers. Those are, I think lemon cucumbers is what these ones over here are. And this is a variety of cucumber called Bushy, even though it's a vining type. I don't know how they name these things. Over here in the background, getting kind of drowned by crabgrass, are my beets and turnips. They look a lot alike because it's a blood turnip and a red leafy beet, so can't really tell which is which. Then I've got my radishes, French breakfast and Scarlet Globe radishes. Really need to get in there and weed some more. This rain that we've been getting lately has just set off the weeds. Over here is my Scarlet Runner beans, and they're running all the way up to the bottle on top. In this bed we've got my Celebrity tomato. This is the one that I took that cutting off of. This guy seems to be doing just fine. The rest of the bed is pretty swarmed by marigolds, but I'm slowly thinning them out. We've got a couple other tomato types in here, some of them Boxcar Willies, Arkansas Travelers, Black Krim, and this one is it's an heirloom tomato called Mr. Stripey. I grew one of those years ago and I was really impressed with the results. Whole bunch of marigolds that I need to trim out. And one more of those black cherry tomatoes, right in the middle. Over here we've got a couple more pepper plants. These are my Tabasco peppers, which they're starting to flower over here. So, got a fairly good variety of pepper, from hot to ridiculously hot to kind of mild. Down here is the herb bed and a cat. In the corners of the herb bed, we've got some sage, which I need to get in here and weed it better, but we've got some white sage. Over there we've got rosemary that's barely coming up, but there's some of it. There's some basil in here, a whole bunch of dill, not just some dill, a whole bunch of dill, Russian tarragon, and cilantro. The two big plants over here are my red yarrow and my wormwood. Down here we have, these are my Tabasco peppers, so that means the other peppers were my sweet yellow banana peppers. Here we have my purple potted pole beans, which they're purple. They're climbing up the poles. Not quite as fast as the scarlet runner beans, but they're climbing. Hey, Ophi, what are you doing? Over here I've got my squash. This is a white scallop heirloom squash. All these are the same variety, same pack of seeds, but apparently this corner of the bed has got some magical juju in it or something, because these leaves are just massive. Over here is my onions, just an ordinary sweet red onions. This cluster right here is my bush beans. I got 2 or 3 different varieties of bush beans in there. I can't remember all of them, but I just grabbed several and started planting. Oh, look at that. I got beans. And of course, the corn. The corn is now about waist high. This is it's the Country Gentleman sweet corn. It's a white sweet corn. And this is the first time I've ever grown corn, so I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. Here we have the boss on her perch, watching everything. Ophi, are you guarding the garden? Good job, puppy. Keep an eye on your cat. And over here in the shady part of the garden, or at least it's shady right now, is my gourds and a cat. This gourd was sprouted inside and transplanted outside. The rest of these guys over here, however, were just planted outside. And have a cat stomping on them. Get out of there, cat. Oh, and look at that. Got an earthworm. That's how big the earthworms are out here. That guy's as big around as a pencil. That's the first gourd that I planted out here, and it's coming along slowly, but it's there. It's alive. It's still early, so the sun hasn't quite made it to the west side of the house yet. But here are my blackberries. This is the one that I planted this year. And there's the first ripening blackberry. This is the one that I planted last year. It's coming along nicely. They're not quite as ripe as the other one, but this guy is going to produce a lot of berries next year. Here's another one of my freebie pepper plants. I have no idea which one this is. I just started planting them around the garden in random spots because I didn't necessarily want to let them die. Here's the big bundle of catnip that I planted for Purrs, with a tomato hiding behind it. Can't remember which one that is. It's just one of the ones that I had, again, sprouted and didn't want to just let it die, so I decided to throw it in the flower bed. Some of the marigolds that I thinned out of that bed, I need to thin even more. Got my yucca plant that I've had for a long time. Some of my I guess Sansevieria, a snake plant. We've got some creeping thyme with a 4 o'clock in there. Got a volunteer sunflower in and amongst the 4 o'clocks. And a melon that I don't quite remember planting here, but hey, I'll take it. It's trying to compete with the 4 o'clocks and doing an admirable job of it. Back here we got the Sweet William that I got from my mom's place. That really cool speckled pattern to it. My Christmas cactus that I salvaged for like $2 or $3 and that bloomed again at Easter time. My mugwort that's looking a little dry, but has finally outcompeted the yarrow that was planted with it, so the white yarrow is pretty much no more. Here's my speedwell, my spike speedwell, that I thought died because I left it in a tiny pot sitting outside in the middle of winter on a north-facing porch in Branson. By all rights, that should have killed it, but nope. It's doing just fine and getting even bigger, so yay for it. It's my spider plant. Some more of those freebie irises that I got from Wes. Have no idea what color they are, but I'm eager to find out next spring or even this fall. More 4 o'clocks. This is the 4 o'clock side of the house. Peonies that did not do anything this year. The ones on the other side bloomed nice and big and gorgeous, and this did nothing. So I think I've got to dig it and separate it out and figure something out with it. Asiatic lily that has not bloomed yet, but hey, the ones that have bloomed are flippin' gorgeous, so I've got high hopes. Oh, let's see. Daylilies, they've started to bloom. There's one of them. Down here we've got another one of my random pepper plants, just to see how well it does. And over here we've got the bird feeder with all of the black oil sunflowers that came up from seeds that birds have been kicking out. I love letting them grow because it's free bird seed, man. And there should be one down here on the shady side that's actually blooming so far. I love sunflowers. Those things are just gorgeous. And we are back in the shade again with my Asiatic lilies. It's the most recent one to bloom, the great big white one. We have the red one. This is the first one to bloom. Its little brothers or sisters have already fallen off, but it's still holding on. There's probably another white one right here. This big, pretty yellow one. And over here, I think these are a lot of people's favorites. The ones that look like they're on fire. These guys are just gorgeous. So come this fall, I'm going to be basically turning the entire area under this walnut tree into a lily bed. Out here we have my apple trees. This is one of my Honeycrisps. This is the one that got butchered by deer recently. But it's made a good comeback. Just hopefully, gosh, in the next year or two we'll start to see some significant growth and maybe start getting some apple blossoms eventually. Over here should be my Gala apple. Seems to be doing okay. We do have a little bit of rust on the leaves, but I'm not too worried about it. Over here we've got my other Honeycrisp. I got two Honeycrisps, one Gala and one Golden Delicious. These Honeycrisps are my favorite. Galas are my second. And I don't like Golden Delicious, but they're great for pollinating, so hey. Friends and family are free to come get the Golden Delicious once it starts producing. And this is the most robust of them all, so I'm pretty sure it's going to produce well. The final tree that I've got out in the orchard here is my fig tree. I was a little bit worried about it. It went kind of dormant inside in the pot over winter, but it seems to be doing okay. So in the center of this little orchard cluster, we're gonna have a hardy fig. I think it's a Chicago fig is what the variety is called. I guess if it's been developed to withstand the weather up in Chicago, it can handle the winters down here in the Ozarks. And so far, that's the property as it is today, with the ridiculous hayfield instead of a yard. But it'll get mowed eventually.